All right. Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope everyone's having a really awesome day. I know this morning was fantastic. We had our first truly cool morning. I will say, I definitely feel very badly for Florida, and Hurricane Milton is just obviously wreaking a ton of havoc. And I do not want to downplay that at all. But I will say, because it kind of came up through the Gulf and headed in, we are getting some amazing, cool breezes out of it. And so, like I said, I feel for Florida. Um, Milton is just hopefully it really downgrades before it does too much damage. But I will say, as a byproduct, we are getting beautiful, cool breezes out of it. And so I will say the silver lining to this horrible hurricane is that we definitely say it spurred fall into our region. And so this morning we woke up and it was 22 degrees this morning Celsius. I'm from Canada, and here in Mexico we use Celsius also. And oh my goodness, and with the high humidity, it is like crisp out. Like it was so beautiful. And the birds are chirping and the sunrise is beautiful. It's just been a very beautiful morning. So I am definitely having a wonderful day so far, of course. Which I will also say then, guys, always remember to take those moments. We get so caught up in the schedule and the hustle and go get the kids off, get breakfast, off to work. We don't take the time to actually just see the stuff around us. So I always highly recommend take those moments. I know when you get busy, you're following your schedule, you're doing your tasks and stuff. That's great, especially if you have that focused attention. Then you're really honed in on what you're doing, which is amazing. That's what we want to do. But it's taking those times, like you're driving to work, take the moments, you're at a red light, take the moments to like look around, see maybe the leaves are changing, maybe somebody's walking a cute dog or something. Like just take the moments to notice life around you, right? If you have dogs, you're out walking a dog. I see this so much in my neighborhood. People out walking the dog and they're on their phone. Like I swear to God, they could kick their dog or dog runs out here. I mean, they're all on leashes and stuff, but they're not paying any attention to anything around them. They're just on their phones. And I think what a perfect opportunity to actually, notice nature, take note of, just life around you, walking your dog, right? So guys, so important. That is self-care in itself. It's reconnecting to nature. If you're not in a super cold climate, you can, walk in the grass a bit with your dog, take your shoes off, just do a couple of circles, ground yourself a bit. Like there's so many wonderful opportunities just walking your dog. But I will say, so for today, I do want to talk about anxiety. I think it's been a very long time since I've touched on this subject, and it is a super important subject to talk about. Um, the big thing here is still there's so many people out there that don't realize you can get rid of anxiety. Like you do not have to live with it as this daily monster on your back, just interfering with everything. I used to be, and I will say, like, I'm phobic of flying and stuff. So whenever we have to fly, I do get anxious because it's a phobia. Um, so there's always going to be like things, extra that we still have anxiety over, the fears, the phobias, the higher, and not just your everyday issues, right? So that's separate issue. That's kind of, those things we don't deal with every day. Um, but your everyday anxiety, you can get rid of it. And it's so huge to understand that. It's like I said, I used to be so controlled with my anxiety, so overwhelmed with it. I literally was not capable of enjoying anything. Like we would be out, boyfriend and I remember we were at, for all my St. Albert people out there, Central Alberta in St. Albert, there is this awesome restaurant, Sorrentino's. It does Garlic Fest. It's amazing. If you guys live in the area, you have to go for Garlic Fest if they still do that. And So we're out at, having a dinner at Sorrentino's. We're out on the patio, and I'm sitting there, and the breeze is beautiful, and just watching traffic, kind of people watching. And I was like, oh, this is so amazing. And then boom, anxiety, because it's like your anxiety doesn't let you be happy. It really stops you. It's, I don't know. It's like some weird subconscious thing, right? I don't know if you guys have heard me before talk about how the chaos, the anxiety, all that drama becomes our comfort zone, because when we're overwhelmed, we learn to survive life in the chaos and the drama. So we have all these coping skills we develop for in that drama and the overwhelm and stuff. So in our really weird, it backfires on us, but that fight or flight safety mechanism that's supposed to keep us safe from bears and caveman days not being eaten, it wants to keep us in the comfort zone because that's what we know. But the chaos, the anxiety, the stress, the overwhelm has become the comfort zone. So when we have those moments of peace, when we have those moments of just like, oh my God, life is good, bam, that's not the comfort zone. And it comes in and it tries to send us back there because it's what we know, right? So there is a reason why this happens. And this is also very important to be aware of it, because you can tell yourself, like, stop, I'm not going to be in this comfort zone anymore. I'm going to try and work hard to get out of it. And having that awareness is a big step in being able to deal with it and get out of it, right? Because we have to be aware before we can deal with the problem. And so, yeah, I'm sitting there enjoying and loving, and bam, anxiety comes up and it starts giving me five different issues. Like, what if we get in a car accident on the way home? What if, I don't know, the house randomly, spontaneously combusts and the dogs are trapped inside? Like, all of these absolutely ridiculous things popping into my head. Like, if you guys are like me, it's almost like if normal people would get inside our heads, like we might actually be committed to a mental institution, because it's just like, why would you think that? What is wrong with you? Why would you come up with these ideas? We don't know. That's anxiety. It's what it does. And then of course we have these problems like, oh, what if I get in a car accident when I come home? Well, then we start coming up with contingency plans, and then we have to come up with five what ifs for that problem. Before we know it, we're 200 problems and what ifs in, and we've just spiraled out of control, right? So, this is a big thing. Like, this is why it's so important to understand that we can do something about this. It doesn't have to be like that. And again, I used to be that person, never having that moment to relax. Anytime you just kind of relax and you're like, life is good, anxiety comes up and it just ruins everything. That was me. I had that for years and years. So I get it. And today, I literally do not have anxiety. Like, it is not this daily thing. I might have it, I don't know, once every couple of months or something. Or if something, a situation happens and I might get a twang of it, I instantly know what it is, that feeling, I work through it, it's gone. Like, it is not this daily thing. So that's what I mean. Like, you can get rid of it because I have done it. Like, I've lived it, I've done it. And so it 100% is possible. And I'm not different from you or anyone else out there who suffers with it. I've just done the work already. That's it. So there's no magic wand or anything. It was just years of um, working through it and understanding and learning what I had to do. Right. And that's why I have this channel. That's why I have my coaching business. That's why I do all this, to really educate and let people know it doesn't have to be that way. There's a whole new wonderful happy life out there for everybody. So the big thing with getting rid of anxiety is it really comes down to, we'll just start super easy with one question. And get me wrong, it's like definitely triggering when you first are trying to, okay, I can get rid of anxiety. What now? Okay, what are you talking about? When I say this, you'll probably get really angry, and I get it, because I got really angry when my boyfriend said it to me the first time. I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I wouldn't listen to him for the longest time. So I get it. Just know that it really helps. This is the way. So when you get over being triggered and you decide you actually do want to do something about your anxiety, you can come back, rewatch this, and listen to it again. But yeah, it is, can you fix it? Because really 90% of all our anxiety comes from things that we can't control. Like, oh my God, what if I got in a car accident when I get home? Well, if someone's going to hit me, I can't stop them. I can defensively drive to the best of my ability. I can do everything in my power to avoid an accident. But if someone's going to hit me, they're going to hit me. I cannot stop it. Right? So, I mean, obviously you want to know, like, okay, well, if I call 911 and you do all the things afterwards, but worrying about the actual thing happening, I can't prevent it if that's what life really wants to happen. So worrying about it is not going to change it. It's not going to help it. There is no point in spending all of this energy taking away my happiness, taking away my sanity in these moments, and giving it all to this thing that I have zero control over. I have zero effect over. Like, isn't that the silliest thing in the world? Think of where all of that energy could go somewhere else, could be placed somewhere else, and you're just draining yourself into this black hole of nothing. Like, it really is for nothing, right? Similarly, like when I fly, I know it's a phobia. I'm terrified of it, but I do tell myself, like, I am choosing to get on this plane. So if it's going to crash, I can't stop it. And I have to come to terms with that. And that is the choice I'm making. And then I have actually lowered my anxiety for flying a ton using this. I'm still not great, but it does really help. So it's working through these problems. Like, can I fix this? Even I was using for a while kind of maybe not the best example at the moment with the hurricane in Florida, but we had the hurricane pass through here. I can't remember which one it was, to be honest. We've had a ton this season. And so we had this hurricane come, and so I had to prep for it. And having anxiety over the hurricane that's coming is not going to stop it from coming. It's like, can I fix this? No. Okay, well, then it'll be what it'll be. Now, having said that, if you can fix it, it's always that follow up question of like, how? So, can I fix the actual hurricane? No. But what can I do to prepare for it? Get the extra batteries, maybe get some extra food, bottles of water on the side, pull all the things from outside, tuck everything down, things that could blow away, like clean up and do the things I can to make the best of the scenario, the event. But then at the end of the day, it is what it is because I can't change the weather. I can't prevent this hurricane from coming in. And through this, it was my first hurricane. So old me would have been losing my mind. And especially on top of that, my boyfriend was away at the time. So I was by myself with the dogs. Now, old me would have lost my shit. I would not have slept at all. I would have just been this complete nutter. Like, worrying every 5 minutes, I would have come down because we got hit. The hurricane rolled in at about 1 a.m. And I would have been awake. I would have come downstairs. I would have kept checking. I would have been like, what can I? And I would have been trying to find things to do because I'd have all this anxious energy. So I'd be trying to put it somewhere. And of course, there's nothing you can do. So, I mean, maybe even I would have made it worse by trying to do things I shouldn't with all that anxious energy, trying to fix something I can't, right? Who knows? But my point is, I actually I went to sleep that night because I'm like, well, I've done everything I can. There's nothing more for me to do. So I'm just going to go to bed. And I woke up at 3 a.m. The winds woke me up because, of course, they were howling. I come and I check, and there's no water in the house. So I don't, because I wanted to come downstairs and see if I need to put some towels somewhere, perhaps. But water was not coming in anywhere. Everything was great. Nothing was broken. I was like, okay, nothing for me to fix here. Nothing more I can do. So I went back to bed. And when I woke up in the morning, it had pretty much passed and was pretty much done. So I pretty much slept through the entire hurricane because what else am I going to do? There's nothing else for me to do. So I might as well carry on with my day or my night, as it were, right? And that's what I mean. Like when we have that control, like I literally slept through a hurricane because I have control over my anxiety, right? Like I just think that's from where I started with, let's be real. When we have high anxiety, we're not sleeping anyway. I would average 4 hours a night sleeping, if I was lucky, because we can't fall asleep because we can't shut this off. Then we wake up in the middle of the night and this is still going, and then if we get back to sleep, it's not for very long because then we wake ourselves up again doing this. So I used to have, like, again, I averaged 4 hours of sleep a night because of the anxiety, because of the never ending, thoughts. I can't shut my brain off, yada, yada, to getting to the point where I literally slept through a hurricane, right? So it can be done, right? And even another example I like to use was last fall, my mom was in the hospital. She's fine, she's healthy, everything's good, but she was in the hospital, and she potentially could have died like 3 times. She was having heart issues. There was surgery. It was like a scary time. Like literally, my mom could die, and I cannot fix this problem. I had some, all of a sudden I felt that kind of rush of like, oh my God, my mom might die. And then I'm like, okay, let's work through it. Let's talk about it. Let's be logical. Um, I'm not a heart surgeon. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a cardiac doctor. I cannot help her. What I can do, again, what are small things? Can I make this situation any better? Yes, I called her. I'm talking to her. I'm reassuring her. I'm doing everything I know how to help ease her mind, to make sure she stays in a good headspace. What did the doctor say you can do? What are other things? Like everything I knew I could help with or do to help the situation, I did. And then when I was done, when I exhausted everything I could do, when there was nothing more for me to do or any possible way for me to help, it's in the doctor's hands, and it'll be what it'll be. And so I carried on with my day. I got work done. Again, I slept well. I slept my full night. I wasn't waking up freaking out because I can't fix it. So again, I call her, reassure her, do those good things I can. But at the end of the day, it's going to be what it'll be. And it's that, um, what I cannot fix, I have to accept, right? And like the hurricanes coming, my mom's situation, whatever it might be, I can't fix it. Therefore, I have to accept it because there's no other choice because I cannot do anything about it. And once we accept that we have to accept things that are out of our control, it's kind of like the anxiety really does lift a lot because the whole thing around the anxiety is worrying about all of these things. But if you're just like, well, it'll be what it'll be, then there's nothing else to worry about. Do you know what I mean? I hope I'm explaining this well. So yeah, it's just the do what you can, and then when that's done, it is what it is, and it'll just be what it'll be, and whatever. Like for the hurricane, when I woke up, if something were broken, if something had happened, if there were things I could fix when it was all over, great. Now I have things to fix. I can find solutions. I can work with that. Thankfully, there was nothing. It was amazing. None of my plants even got wrecked. Everything was safe, secure. Like everything was good. But it's don't worry about the problem until it happens. Thinking of problems, creating problems, you're almost inviting them in and wishing for them to happen, right? So it's just that taking that step back and really just, if it happens, I'll deal with it then, right? Can I fix this now? No. Okay, well, what if? Well, if it happens, then we'll deal with it then. Then I will have a problem to solve, right? And that's it. I get it. Like when my boyfriend first said this to me, I was so mad. I was like, I can't believe you're saying such a stupid thing to me. But the more I thought about it, I was just like, well, yeah, literally, I can't do anything about it. So, instead of worrying about the hurricane that I cannot stop and I cannot do anything about, and it's going to do whatever it's going to do, then what can I do? I can, maybe take the dogs out for an extra walk before it hits. Maybe I'm going to, oh, hey, I get some extra reading time. Maybe I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do a little self-care and really make sure I'm in a good headspace before I go to sleep before this hurricane hits. I read my book extra. Like, where else can I put this energy? I know for some of you, when we have too much energy, some people like to work out. I'm a cleaner too. Sometimes if I have too much energy, I clean things. So I actually did clean before the hurricane a little bit because I was like, oh, what else can I do? I'll clean something. Where else can I put my energy when I have nowhere to put it, right? And you just, do healthy, productive things if you have energy built up. And that's not to say you have to be worried and anxious. No, no, it's just like when you get rid of the anxiety, you might have leftover energy because you were brought up in the anxious state. You're up here, right? So then when you work through it, you're like, okay, well, yeah, I can't fix it. There's nothing else I can do, but you might still have some of that balled up energy, right? And then you just need to put it to something productive and kind of get rid of it, so to speak. So I hope this all makes sense. It's definitely it's not an easy thing to implement. It does take practice. It's forming a new habit. You feel the anxiety and just like, hey, can I fix this? Is there anything I can do to help this situation? No. And then you have to kind of like, okay, well then I know you just can't like, oh, I'm just not going to worry about it. But you talk yourself out, you give yourself reasons. I do a lot of self-talk, and that really helped me. Okay, stop worrying about this. You can't do anything about this. Okay, what can you do? Okay, you want to worry about it. What are you going to do about itself? And then you're like, well, nothing. And you can kind of talk yourself down, right? And then again, if you need to distract yourself, you need somewhere to put that energy. It doesn't seem to want to dissipate. Go be distracted. Go put that energy into something else. Go do something productive, and and keep yourself in a nice, neutral, calm state, right? So I hope this is all making sense. Um, yeah, it's just one of those things you have to practice. I always tell people I love my post-it notes. Put stickies, put the bathroom mirror. If you have a workstation, you can put it on the wall. Or I have one of my clients put the post-it note right on the side of her monitor, her screen, so she could look up, can I fix this? And she'd be like, nope, okay, I just got to let it go. I can't fix it. And just as that constant reminder, because you really want to just instill that question. So it's just there right away. Can I fix this? Can I fix this? Can I fix this? And just to remind yourself. Again, forming that habit. It's like when you want to learn to drink more water, you kind of set an alarm. Did you drink your water? Did you drink your water? Did you drink your water? Right? Forming the new habits. It used to be 3 weeks to form a habit. I just read somewhere they were saying 4 weeks now. So I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks we'll say. So just keep yourself, always have those reminders, whether you set alarms and check in with yourself, whether you have a friend or a partner help you with this. Just know that when they're helping you, you might tend to get angry. So be aware and try not to direct the anger at them. They're just trying to help you. You are infuriated with yourself and the anxiety. Don't take it out on them. But yeah, however many people, however many different ways to remind yourself to really create this great healthy habit. You really want to get it instilled. And this is another thing. The more often we do it, the better. And celebrate. Every time you do this, even if you don't do it successfully, but you do it a little bit, like celebrate every win. Again, that little brain I've talked about before, it's like a little toddler. The more we celebrate, it's like, oh, what did I do? I want to do it again. And so even though it's a tiny celebration, it doesn't matter how small, the more we celebrate it, because our subconscious does not know a big celebration from a small one. So the more we celebrate, the more subconsciously we want to do that new habit. We want to do that thing. And it's just going to reinforce it even faster, even quicker, and really instill it nice and deep. So it's just second nature. And yes, it does become that way where it is second nature for you. You don't even really have to think about it. Just something happens and you'll be like, well, what am I going to do about it? And then you'll carry on with your day. Just like that, easy peasy. But it's like anything, guys. It's like dealing with toddlers or little puppies or something. Repetition, repetition, repetition. We don't get the hang of things overnight. You have to be patient and you just have to keep, keep at it. And that's just the key. So I hope this helps. I think that the big main moral of the story I want you to take away is that you do not have to live with daily anxiety. It does not have to be a thing. Like, truly, guys, I I can't stress that enough. Again, from a person who has been completely overwhelmed and ruled by my anxiety to the person where I am, some new age hippie that's go with the flow and like, oh, whatever, what are you going to do about it? It can be done because I've done it. So just know that it's a thing, it's possible, and yeah, all you have to do is just keep trying and working on it. You will get there. You will, I promise you. You just have to keep trying. That is all. All right, guys. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday. To all my Canadian people out there, because we are October 10, we are 10/10 today. It is Thanksgiving this weekend. So, to all my Canadian people, have a very wonderful Thanksgiving. If you're like me, I like to take Fridays of long weekends either off or end them early and give myself a nice, lovely long break. Get all the self care in. Long weekends are the best for this.